What up, traders? What up, investors? Okay, there it goes. What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for joining a wonderful, fantastic live stream. We're looking at a couple things today, of course. The market, as last week, was a little bit down. We'll see on how this week kind of recovers from it. But yeah, we have quite a few great tickers to look at. We got Alpaca already in town. Alan, Amanda Hope, Paper Trade Pro. What's up, dude? Hope everyone's doing fantastic. I wanted a pizza, but I'm just eating some trail mix. So I'm eating some Costco trail mix, that is. Costco. Kirkland trail mix. Yummy, yummy. They're very generous with their M&Ms and their trail mix. What's up, Makeshift? Yeah, it looks like the S&P 500 futures are just, everything's pretty much flat. Ben Pizza, yeah, Ben, thank you again for that slice. Art Row, what up, dude? Or gal? David S, what's up? Alan's asking for looking for AMC without with no problemo, my friend. But they do a good mix between raisins and M&Ms, so it's not all junk. Yeah, AMC. Tell me this audio is terrible because I'm just constantly chewing here. Different baits, what's up, my friend? It's been holding this like 34 EMA pretty good on the daily chart. Let's kind of zoom in here on the hourly chart here. On the let me raise my desk up real fast. Yeah, it's been really heavily consolidating at 550. What price are you in there, Alan? It's an interesting setup there. So I'm loading this here real fast. So the point of control is around like 480. So what that kind of tells me or dictates there, Alan, on the short-term time frame, but on the longer-term time frame, it's a little bit lower. One second, let me look at daily. A little bit lower than that. Okay. So what this is highlighting here, this little volume bar over here is basically looking at the volume where things were purchased and so forth. You're right now at 587. Yeah. So these levels down here are levels of where people bought in. So $5.77, $4.33, $3.17. Those are very strong levels of support if it does come down. So in the short term, it looks like it has some support at 5, but it has questionable earnings on the 25th. Is that supposed to be it? Do they have earnings this week? Yeah, I like it. There's going to be a little bit of a risky trade there, Alan, which I know you're smart and not just putting your whole portfolio into this, but it does have some support around that $5 range because that's kind of where it kind of took off from this crazy run to $20. But yeah, it just kind of just trading sideways. Maybe you can guesstimate or hypothesis about guesstimating on why this is happening. Is it could be people that actually have diamond hands and just kind of holding here. Mixer says, what indicator is that called? Is that similar to a VWAP, right? Um, VWAP is like weighted. Yeah, it's kind of VWAP I've played with a little bit. It's called a volume zone profile. It just kind of indicates on where the point of control could be for that. It's not all raisins, Alan. It's a good mix. It really is. There literally might be like a the worker elves or oh my gosh, what are they called? Oompa Loompas that help sort this perfect mixture out. So, all right. I'm sorry, I'm getting out of behind here. Can we look at can for this order is buying 100 shares and selling a Strangle? Yeah, that's a. Not sure what the company does, but that's a pretty insane parabolic move. Very high on the RSI and volumes on oscillator. We have weekly chart. That's a completely a breakout high move higher with multiple gap ups. Looking for some short-term support, just looking at the 5 to 8 EMA, so around $16 to $19 could be some short level support. But yeah, this is definitely one that could continue going because again, if that momentum continues, it can run. But it is it's been elevated. Anthony, what's up, dude? I hope CRM is finally moving again after earnings this week. CRM. Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people are waiting for the news about work. Not or work, but meaning the ticker symbol work or Slack. It is, yeah, it's made a nice little recovery here. It hit off that 200 EMA here, which again, we love that line there. Pretty strong coming into with earnings. Probably the move's like $20 for the week, $16. That's a pretty substantial move to see. So we do have that 250 range to potentially be broken. We do have some overhead support coming around 267, which kind of lines up what the potential expected move is. FB, yeah, FB. I don't know what's going on over there. I think this is tied to the issues that they and Google are having in Australia, and the smorgasbord of other issues that Zuck just kind of tracks to himself. It is coming down to some level of support here, technically speaking. If it doesn't stay above this 260 range, we can easily come down and tap that 255 to the downside. To the upside, we can potentially try to break above 275. Ross, what's up, my friend? What's up? What's up? Ross, what's up, dude? We look at FRX. Whoa, ho! That's a spicy meatball. Not a big fan of these kind of candles here. With looks like a SPAC that kind of made some kind of announcement. Ran up pretty hot here. This long candle. Not saying it's a red flag, but it's like, if you're not in it. Basically meaning the Bulls and Bears had a pretty large argument, basically from the 17th floor all the way down to the nearly the third or the 13th floor, just going up and down this large skyscraper of a candle here, and just really just been battling all day. The Bears coming out, the Bulls coming out just ever so slightly, but the Bears could potentially come in here if they do kind of miss that gap up here. Nice little move here. It can easily come back down to $12 to touch, not to close. You saw it bounce off that 21 EMA a couple times there, so be mindful of that. I think you know that this is a very again, those SPACs have that large boost move, excuse me, and then they just kind of trade sideways, and maybe they wait until the final deal or whatever. Like, we got to be very careful. I have no idea what this SPAC is though. Alexis, can we take a look? Can I pick your brain? Tiny stock HX. Uh, Super choppy here. Not my favorite kind of setup here. Um, yeah, very choppy here. Basically, I'm gonna bet you the point of controls basically around like 250. Okay, yeah, it's at 269. Basically isolating that whole area there. Really just gonna be playing this potentially for a trade. No idea what the company does, but if it does pop, we saw that it does run, so be very mindful. It can easily run up to $7. D nice, what's up, my friend? KFT, how you doing? Um, Costco snacks. You know it, Kelly D. Let's look at X. Is that U.S. Steel, right? That's been down. Yeah. This is what people call a head and shoulders pattern. So you have the one shoulder, the head, and then the next shoulder, and shoulder, not shoulder, with the neckline. So if we do get a break below the neckline, which is basically that 1650-ish, 1687, that could easily run down and break into that $14 price target. But that being said, it is trying to kind of do somewhat of a reversal here. Again, technically speaking, the patterns, the head and shoulders pattern, both like a little bit more complex patterns like the head and shoulders one, are very telling at times, but it's always up into interpretation of the person who's talking about the head and shoulders pattern. But if we get a strong rebound here with the 5 and 8 crossing through the 21, we can easily see a run up back up to that $18 to $19 level there. David says, I found an app that puts all the WSRE hypes into one nice dashboard. Can I share the link? Yeah, for sure, dude. I don't think it should kick you. I actually found this one the other day. It's called Swag Stocks. Ever heard of that one? I can get Wall Street's ticker tracker in real time. I can post that one real fast. Here. So that's basically the that tracker there. I don't think I see AMC being worth 12 by next year. Yeah, if the strong recovery comes back, yeah. Like, movie theaters have a place, but you're much more patient than I am. Um, Ben's asking for CCIV. Yeah, CCIV. A lot of people actually got scared of this one last week because of the pretty massive pullback that we saw. Basically, in a very short period of time, either. It's basically within a couple minutes. It basically just like broke the floor at like 57, 58, and then traded all the way down almost to $50 exactly, and then kind of sprung back a little bit. This happened, especially in stocks like this. This thing's been a rocket ship. Very much just continue holding that 5 and 8 moving averages. It came down to the 5, it touched it, just kind of like, hey, I'm still on Earth. I'm still in some kind of gravitational pull. I'm not have gone fully parabolic yet, which I think I consider this parabolic in that sense. But um, really parabolic is when it does not touch for multiple days the 5 EMA, and then it really just gets these crazy extreme green candles and go rips higher here. With that being said, this one is really much a coin flip. You just have to be very careful on your position sizing in this. If you're going to be a long-term investor in this, I would recommend getting in some covered calls and different various components like that to kind of protect some of those holdings. Alan, I love me some Costco too. Josh, hey, thanks. What's up, dude? Sorry on the video. Yeah, I like Nike. So the setup for Nike for me, if I had to trade it, was again, last week was very choppy, very representative of the overall market. Nike is bounced off that 21 EMA multiple times, pretty strong here, with a pretty strong consolidation here. Not trying to really get back above 145 here, and seeing a little bit of issues coming forth there. With that being said, we do have a dividends date on the 26th and then earnings on the 18th of next month. So with those two factors set in place, usually, which I find it kind of strange that the dividends is before earnings, but that's whatever. More or less maybe getting earnings run. I think Nike's a pretty strong company, but last earnings was nice gap up. Okay. To the short term support is basically around 140. And then from that level, maybe to 137, then 133. To the upside is really trying to break above 145 and then maybe hit 150. The expected move for the monthly of March is around $11. So kind of keep that in mind on we do get an extreme pullback to these levels that maybe could be a buying opportunity depending on what your position, your viewpoint on the stock is. Tony, what's up, my friend? GILT. Wow. Pretty strong run up. This is what happens once it starts breaking the 8 EMA and those parabolic purple dots start to fail. It kind of sells off. And basically, within 2 days, it gave back the last 7 days. But it's showing some support here around $15. Again, hitting on that 21 EMA. If we continuously see the 5 and 8 moving averages pointing to the ground like this, we could see a break below 15 to maybe the next level of support around 13, 14. In the short term, with the momentum of these stocks, that 5 and 8 would potentially need to start curling up and start seeing maybe somewhat of a recovery from that level there. Learn something new. So snow earnings in a couple of weeks. Yeah. Snow has been super choppy here. We've highlighted this a couple times here, basically showing support around 275 to 320, and just been bouncing around here. With earnings on the horizon, maybe we can get an earnings run again. It's showing on the 3rd, so just like a week and a half away. Maybe get that run to 320. Does it have weekly options? It does. So they're expecting to move about $42 that week. That's a pretty significant move that can easily break it up to that 319, 320, or even to the downside below 275. Rodriguez says, what's up, Ken? Can you take a look at INTC? Thanks. And thank you for being so polite. Yeah, Intel. What do we say about Intel? Super choppy. It has been really kind of been a little bit more aggressive than the other chip makers, and really kind of trying to break out here. We could see a potential wall kind of come in here around that $64 to $65 range. When we zoom out to the weekly chart, you can kind of see that here and kind of here at those levels potentially being some overhead resistance. So be mindful of that when you're buying into it. Again, It's a little bit highly elevated for me. Again, it's not closer to the 21 or 34 EMA on the way I like to start picking up shares or call options. Um, but it is looking fairly interesting at these levels here to potentially see a breakout compared to its competitors like the AMD, which has just been just trading sideways and just taking on water and not doing much of anything for Ken. Kumar, what's up? Says SQ February 23, 300 calls. A little short dated calls for me, but SQ, of course, you're talking about Square 300. Could it hit the 300 on? Is it the 23rd? The 23rd? Is that, or is that when the earnings come out? Okay, yeah, earnings are 23rd. So the expected move for the week is $27. Okay, so $27 plus. That could be, but yeah, $300 could be in the deck of cards. It looks like there is a little bit of open, yeah, a lot of open interest there, a lot of volume on Friday as well. Really hefty price at $5, but the IV is high because of the earnings, so that is entailing the pretty large expected move. Of course, the last couple times it's a little bit hit and miss on Square. Again, I have a viewpoint of earnings of it. It's a coin flip, so be very mindful of that, Kumar. So I'm not the largest fan of holding calls through earnings just because the short dated calls, because it's basically uh, really it's not even as good as flipping a coin. You're really putting the odds somewhat against you. I would rather see you further dated. If you really wanted to play earnings, you could potentially selling some premium by selling higher dated calls or lower dated puts in around that range. But could it hit 300? Yes, it can. What's the probability? We can tell you the probability of maybe hitting 300 is around the delta of, why the heck did that move? Hold on. I can tell you the delta here. Let me pull it up on Tastyworks. The delta for the 300 is 18%. So potentially 18% chance that options will be in the money by the end of the week. Yeah, so okay, sorry. Looks like the chat just updated. Um, um, Alex, we just already looked at HX. Yeah, you asked for that. Yep. A RC, what do you think about GME? Is it a squeeze over? People are saying that hedge funds are using XRT to move their short positions of GME. Yeah. So XRT is the S&P 500. Uh, what's it called? GME is like the SP 500 consumer index fund, basically the retail fund. With GME, is it over? Maybe. I would say yes. Can it run again? Sure, but it's kind of like when the VIX blows up on the pandemic news. It just slowly trends lower and lower and lower and lower and lower. I think people are still a little hyped up on what really happened, and then all the articles going out on how much money people made, all these fantastic things. I think people are still kind of living that dream. Short squeeze happens, they will happen again. I can't tell you when. I don't know how. I don't have a crystal ball, but we can look at the make a good point about the XRT, because basically it mimicked it some to some extent, not to the same like um, percentage basis, but with the retail ETF been holding that 21 EMA fairly strong here. So I like that the move there. But the only thing is like looking at these stocks is because it's somewhat skewed because of this huge explosion here. As it's just kind of backtrack things that kind of really messed up some of the technicals I normally look at. So it's really hard to kind of give you the looking at that. Dash cryptocurrency Yeah, I'm not into that. I only have Ethereum and Bitcoin right now. Kumar, why is PFE not increasing when there is a lot of orders? Can you see mRNA kind of behavior in like PFE? So I'm in Pfizer. Honestly, it sucks, Kumar. It's a longer term play. It's one of my boring stocks. I always call it. Pays a nice dividend. I just collect the check. Um, that being said, it does have some floor support around that $35 to $34 range. It has been beaten up, but this is a longer term play for me. Like um, Pfizer, fairly strong fundamentals, very vast differentiation of products. Um, but looking here in a longer term chart, this is where I get excited here, Kumar. Playing the long game. Playing the long game, I learned many, many years ago um, on the sense of having patience, sitting on your hands, and doing nothing at times, and just kind of placing strategical bets. Um, that being said, here are the squeeze on the monthly chart. So again, each of these ticks is a whole full month. If we can kind of stay consolidating, at least stay above $34, and even if we do tap down to 33, even 31 will be fine. The longer term trend is trying to kick higher here. What we're going to be looking for is potentially trying to reach that $40 to $43 level. Um, for me to be looking for those targets there, Kumar. Alpaca, what's up, my friend? MMEDF. Alpaca, you know you have the award for my longest um, subscriber to YouTube. I appreciate that. Um, MMEDF. Yeah, this thing, like I think I told you, I bought into here around $3. Was able to accumulate a couple hundred shares. With that being said, it's kind of slowly grinding higher. Nice little steady eddy here. We're looking for, again, that wonderful $5 target. I think we've mentioned multiple times before that, hey, if this does get eligible to be traded on a exchange like the Nasdaq, because again, if I try to trade this in Tastyworks, it doesn't even come up because it's not considered a not a pink sheet, but it's in that in the circles of where Tastyworks allows you to buy and sell things. So I think once this gets adopted to the Nasdaq or something like that, this could easily run up to that $5 range without a doubt. Do I think Amazon could break the current trend and move upwards? Yeah. Um, I'm selling premium in Amazon. I'm just selling some puts on here. The Friday's action actually sucked as well. Like it was not fun at all. This see Amazon just kind of hit that level and just kind of come sinking right back down. Looking here in the chart here, again, hit that $3,336 level and then just took a poopy and did never recovered. It just did not give a rat's you know what about it. That is definitely something to be an interesting play here. That is really that key level. We need to see a breakout from that level, that $3,336 range. If we do get a break above that, I think the next really upward momentum and target would be around that 3,500. It does have a squeeze set in place. We are pretty confident with the Bezos kind of resigning somewhat some of his power. So yeah. I Ken, is that building with you? I'm sorry, I might have missed that. I might have been delayed here. Um, make sure I use swag bucks. NRG is what Alpaca. Yeah, NRG. Are you and Ryan are in that, right? Ryan was telling everyone this is nuclear power, right? This is the nuclear power company. Yeah, a little bit of a sell-off with a lot of the energy companies. Most of those due to the Texas stuff. Gap down here, this kind of traded lower here. Did bounce pretty good off that 50-day, which was around $38.47. Being mindful, we do have earnings coming up as well. So super mindful of that on the. Oh, I want to go to the weekly chart here. Sorry, 1 second. Weekly chart. It has had a little bit of issues around that $40 range. You see that 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 here. A little bit of issues kind of coming forth here. The momentum again with that pretty large gap down that could maybe be driving some momentum to the downside. But on the weekly chart, it hit that $38 parabolic SR dot, so that kind of could bounce off that level. If this trend continues and we start staying above that 37 to 35-ish dollar range, the targets are still around $45 in the longer term side of their alpaca. Ben, no, I didn't see anything about CCIV on Saturday. What did they say? Oh shoot, that thing just updated. Oh shoot, hang on, guys. Sorry. Okay. Okay. Um, where was it? I saw BA coming through. Hold on. BA. When aren't they having problems and people have been investigating them and all kinds of stuff? So this is something quite interesting to see here. With that being said, here BA somewhat dormant again, somewhat tethered to the overall airline industry. That is something to look out for as well. Sorry, my thing just popping up here. With that trend here, again, looking here somewhat, we've seen some support coming in around $200. So that 203 to 199 has been a pretty substantial level of support here. Kind of just trading sideways, just treading water, not really much to report, really much hinged to the overall opening of stuff. I just saw some pretty interesting data out of Israel where they saw a pretty large drop off of cases due to the virus at once the overall country was vaccinated at 27%. So I think the number is substantially less for us right now. I think we're at like 3 or 4%. I don't even know at this point. The data is so skewed. But with BA, if we do get that next run up, that 225 is a level of resistance on the Fibonacci tree. But yeah, this one just looks like it wants to, it's just kind of waiting for a catalyst to maybe try to push this one higher. NIO I saw as well. Sorry again, I'm the chat window is being pretty silly today. With that, with NIO, very difficult one. It's been again with the overall chop that we saw last week, really just kind of skew things down. A lot of the stocks, the momentum heavy growth stocks, did bounce pretty hard off that 50 SMA here. So this kind of bounced off around that 30 or sorry 53.19 18 here. Yeah, 53.18 here. Seeing that bounce, please. There we go. Moved higher here a little bit. We did see the 5 and 8 moving averages kind of come slightly into that like not sell off range, but like maybe some like chop range. But like you said, and Ben I think believe pointed out was, hey, we have earnings coming up fairly soon. Always a very trying time with any kind of company. Of course, this company has been on a lot of folks' radar. It's been on, in the instance of just like the crazy amount of run that we've seen with NIO. To that extent, the moving averages we're going to be, the prices we're going to be looking at for next week is basically a potential move of $10. So $10 we're currently looking at would put it at 65 or back down to 45. That doesn't mean it needs to happen. That's just what the market makers parameters are. They're like, hey, with the calculations using the Black Scholes or whatever model they use, I think they're calculating a move the range of plus or minus $10. So basically a $20 window for NIO next week. If you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you slam that like button. SFTW space SPAC. Do people want to guess on how many SPACs went public in 2020? Yeah, that's insane. How am I supposed to buy that? Like, this is really much not my cup of tea, to be quite honestly here, and just really just kind of blowing off here, and I can't really trade this. This is very far from any of the moving averages that I follow here. So, Godspeed to that ticker. Nick says, "Hey, Mr. Dyslexic, just call me Ken. Do you cover Riot? No, I have not covered Riot. Of course, Riot, blockchain, Bitcoin, all kinds of fun stuff there. Heavily driven on that 5 moving averages, which is that white line here. Continue to drive higher. We're hitting some Fibonacci level here around 69. Just call it $70 here. If that can continue to kind of hold, maybe build a base, maybe get a little second breath here. Being mindful, this does really try to mimic the old Bitcoin. So with Bitcoin, I have some price targets around that $66,000 to $67,000. So be very mindful of that on how the correlation between those two go. NGAC mergers, NGAC. Yeah, that looks interesting. I like this one. I think this is the one Johnny brought up in the Discord members chat. This looks just like it, like where if this does break out above 1350, that could easily run up to that $15 to $16 range without a doubt. But with some short-term support around 1230, then around that 1150ish range. Steven is, hey, yo, Ken, does the current chart pattern SPY worry you? Early similar to last February, too high volume sell-offs, pays the show. You have to understand the overall. Could we get a pullback? Sure. Could we get a correction to some extent? Sure. But that being said, the overall market's temperature is a little bit different than it was last year, February. So last year, February, we had a global pandemic where people thought everyone's going to be turning into zombies and they're going to get this horrible virus. And the extent of the mass amount of fear that just crippled the overall market. That's an insane amount of stress and fear in the market. That's why we saw so much panic selling in the month of basically February, March time frames, and just complete selling off here. And I think that's kind of some stuck in our reptilian brain of like, hey, I remember last year around this time that S hit the F and things got really nasty. And yeah, I'm not saying we can't get a pullback here. The first level of pullback for the S&P 500 really would be, to prove anything, would be around that 385 to 386. That's the 21 EMA. It can pull back easily to the 50 SMA, which is around the 375 to 377. And that will be just fine. It will be perfectly fine. That's a normal, somewhat market. It's going to be steep. It's not just going to be one single red candle coming down there. But you have to be ready for the market again. We've enjoyed a very nicely bull run here, basically since the end or the beginning of November of last year. So count your blessings, and potentially we could see somewhat of a not a normalized pullback. I don't want to fear people there. Okay, my chat, I don't know if I can't read. What is going on here? Let's see here. Ooh, boo, 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 boo. Okay, sorry. Oh, sorry, guys. This is my chat is like not really updating here for me. Okay, now it goes. There it goes. Wow, that was a lot I just missed there. I saw someone talk about Apple. Let's talk about the old Apple. That mother trucker um, it has been very, again, looking at the overall market, we did get very chop last week. Is it a buying opportunity? Maybe. I bought some stocks that I liked that were on my list. There were stocks on your watch list that you wanted to add to. Probably like Apple came around that 130 to 129 range, kind of bounced around that level. We talked about that level of support before. Yes, Apple is like the largest company known to man, and everyone wants their devices. Let's be quite honest. But I think little people got too much tied to the Apple car and the potential of that really just blowing up the stock here. With that being said, we just had that split. People got super excited about their earnings. There's just a lot of time, just like just breathe, slow down, take things into consideration here. Really look for shaking out some people. This is normal to see these kind of patterns to come through. So the 28 to 29 range is going to be the first level of support here. It is pretty significant because again we did break below the 50 SMA and the 5 and 8 have crossed through the 21 EMA. So we do get a substantial further pullback. That's really going to be looking for around that 25 or below range that we could be seeing in Apple. To the upside, we really need to start seeing it back above 135. Dave says, "Hey Ken, FSR." Yeah, this is I think we looked at Fisker, right? Yeah. Very choppy here as well. Highlighting that 1884 range. Basically kind of hitting it here and then here again potentially. If we can get a stronger pull through here and getting the volume kind of start pumping into this and getting some more bulls on board with this train here, we need to get above that 1884 here to potentially get any kind of movement here. With that being said, if we don't, we could be easily coming back down to that level of support around $16.67. The trend could change, but it could happen literally anytime. Correct. 100% Chris. Rama says, "Hey Ken, people are talking about an upcoming market crash. What are your thoughts?" I think more people that talk about something, the less likely it's going to happen. I'm more of the camp of being a contrarian trader, so not I just don't do the complete opposite of everything. But if a lot of people are talking about it, it's once people forget about it and then we get a pullback. By a market correction, do you mean like a 20% correction? That's going to be a little bit more substantial than a normal pullback. I think I could definitely see a pullback of 5 or 10% easily. There have been a big news catalyst to draw us down. Yeah, Chris. Yeah, definitely. There's always a catalyst. There's always some kind of weird wave that could knock us lower here. But just be very mindful and understand of like the market is designed to go up. Let's be honest. It's gonna the S&P 500 is designed to make us money. In the short term, we get bear markets for 18 months or 12 or 24 months, but the overall market is still trying to trend higher here. With that, also looking at those prices there on the S&P 500. We just hit an all-time high just a couple days ago, so be mindful of that as well. A lot of people did turn into zombies with the Karen disease. Oh, that's funny. Oh my god. I saw SNDL. Let's see here. What SNDL is that penny stock, right? Yeah. This one, short squeeze on the Wall Street Bets Robinhood list of restriction tradings as well. again, had that squeeze higher to that $4 range and then came right back down. It's trying to hold some support around the 21 to 34 EMA at those levels there. So we can potentially see that maybe hold there. But if that momentum and those paper hands start selling, we can easily see it come back down to $1. Um, Medicated trader from Howard Stern Show. Wonderful. Hey Ken, SRNE going to Moon tomorrow. Sorrento Therapeutics. SRNA, yeah. I don't know if there's any. Is there a news catalyst or something that you're tying it to? Um, with that being said, it has come back here to that 21 EMA and that Fibonacci level at $13.15. If this can hold, again, looks like there is potential earnings coming out as two. We could maybe see a run up to 1637, which you saw it failed on these ticks up here. So 1637 is a wall of resistance to the upside, with some short-term support initially around 1315, and then even back down to 11, or this is called $12, and then even down to 1065 would be your levels of support to the downside. Rocket was supposed to be rocketing the last 3 months. Yeah, Rocket. I bought in just a tad into this sucker last week. Not really much to say here. You see my alerts. It has earnings coming out fairly soon, the beginning of March or the end of February. When is that? Yeah, the 25th. Basically, if it breaks below 1950-ish, not a big fan, but really would love to see it break back above 2150 there. Trader Joe's, hey Ken, what is your opinion on the percentage of computer algorithm in terms of daily volume? Thanks. Trader Joe, I think trading volume for computer algorithms on the short-term time basis is like 80%. So 80% of the trades in the short term. So if you're day trading on the 1 minute chart, you're most likely going to be competing with an algorithm. Apple needs some new and shiny. Yeah, that Apple car could be it, but I'm still a little hesitant in it. We'll love to hear about ZOOM. Yeah, you're talking about Zoom, the stock. So ZM, yeah, they have earnings coming out this week as well, right? Oh, sorry, next week, no, the following week of March. We did hit that level around 430, like we talked about, but we weren't able to break above it. We're coming back down to some support around that 410 to 409 range. If that can hold, maybe build a base here. I'm a little skeptical on the earnings here. Again, not a big fan of, again, I don't have a long-term position or any kind of holdings in ticker symbols, ZM or Zoom, but isolating the issues of like, hey, if it does break lower here on the monthly expiration or that weekly expiration, we're looking for a move of basically $57. That's a very large move. So the IV is going to be pretty heavy in there. A lot of stuff, a lot of lemons to squeeze there. So $57, basically where we're currently sitting at, could easily bring us up to that 560 to even higher if it does run here to standard deviations. With that initial resistance potentially around 490, on which we've seen it fail before, going into earnings, with that potential earnings run up kind of momentum there. Futures look, yeah, the futures look flat to me. Yeah. Scorpion. We just did Intel a little bit a ways ago. Intel, what did I say about Intel? It has some level of resistance to the upside here, especially coming in. Yeah, the $64 to $65 range is going to be a level of resistance potentially. So looking here on the weekly side, the momentum, if it can continue here, it would be very fantastic in the sense of trying to break above that. But that was kind of potentially getting into unknown territory there. Is there a resource that shows at algorithm trades? I don't know, Chris, actually. Yeah, Fisker search looks very messy. V is asking for Fastly. Let's see here. Yeah, Fastly, it really just it was one of the favorite stocks for people to trade. Sorry, I thought I was gonna sneeze. One of people stocks were favorite to trade, but even with the earnings miss here, we're kind of showing some support here on the 200 EMA, so around that $80 range. That doesn't mean that that has to hold without a doubt here. The heck? Did I spill something there? I spilled water. I didn't even know it. I stepped on it. Okay, sorry. So 200 EMA support here around $80. Very aggressive downward move. So this is not just a slow and steady flying in for a nice soft landing. This is a hey, we're coming in, ready or not. We have no landing gear. We're coming in hotter than a rubber ducky here, and don't there's not even foam on the landing pad to try to stop any sparks or fires going. They're just going full bore and landing straight on the tarmac with any no protections at all. With that being said, we could see a potential bounce here around $80, maybe get a dead cat bounce, maybe bounce back up to 90 and then come right back down. There's a lot of scenarios that could happen here. The only thing is really looking at this one and seeing it is a very large aggressive downward candle. So that is a pretty large break in that overall trend that we were trying to see in Fastly. Apple needs to come out with announce an EV car and buy a partner up with another car company. Yeah, the thing is, like, Apple Trader Joe is the worst company to try to buy things. That they are, they always they have all the capital. They can do so many things. They had the chance to buy Tesla. I was going crazy. I was slamming my head. I was like, just buy Tesla. Just buy Tesla. You had the opportunity. You didn't take the meeting. Um, D9 says, Ken, Apple will shake out every fine long term. Continue to add to your positions. Forget the Apple car. They are innovating in VR glasses, connect and vision, healthcare, and their own satellite. Yeah, I agree. D Nice, Apple's a key holder in my portfolio, and it sounds like yours as well. Future veterans, I'm very afraid of inflation coming. Moved most of my positions into commodity plays like silver and mining stocks. Um, yeah, that's a one way to play it. Honestly, if you're fearful of that, if you can just add it into uh, uh, straight commodity stuff, or just that's priced to an underlying commodity price like oil, gold, silver. Yeah, 100%. I read something interesting on silver today. That silver is a very large component in electronic devices, more than people thought. Um, it's 51% or 52% of silver is used for solar panels and batteries. And of course, what is most stocks that are taken off is the solar and EV companies. So I thought that was quite interesting. Dave's asking for an update on SENS. Yeah. So SENS, there's not really much of an update here. The pattern still looking for here. We're still looking at that 5 and 8 moving averages to kind of continuous carrying us higher here. In the short dated support, we have around 430. It can come easily back down to 390 here and even down to 350 with some overheads resistance at 486 or $5. If we do get a break above that, we're still looking for that $6 price target there. Yeah, silver is going to be an interesting play. It's definitely something that's on my radar. Phenomenal 51 says PSTH. Yeah, they're supposed to have some kind of announcement coming out. I thought that was on the 18th. Again, that was a rumor. Still kind of, again, this is a SPAC. It has a crazy amount of premium on this, like insane amount of premium. Again, this is a Blake Check company with Bill Ackman, and there is literally nothing here that we can. There's no. You're basically just buying this blank check company and hoping Bill knows what the hell he's doing, and then just like cheers to that. With that being said, in the short term, if you're looking for just on the technical side, Has some support around 29.64 and even down to 28.93. I'd like to hear your thoughts on uranium. If I read that right, is that's a very rare earth material. I think those rare earth materials are going to be something that we're going to be fighting for quite a bit. So that's why I own MP. You saw MP really just kind of take off here quite a bit here and climb into last week while the market was just taken down. Apple is building out their own smart city and eco city. Nice. CRIS, please. Um, hmm. Very interesting. Gap up, kind of traded sideways. Kind of looking at some support here on that $10 range. If it starts breaking below that 950, which is the 50 SMA, we can easily see it come down. I have no idea what this company does. The chart looks somewhat okay. I would say maybe could be some kind of acquisition here, but it looks a little bit too much chop for an acquisition. Usually, an acquisition would kind of just pop up and just trade sideways pretty very tightly. Looks a little bit more choppy. If we do get this momentum and some volume coming into the stock, because again, this has been very much dead compared to the volume that we saw towards the December of last year, we could easily get that run up to 1350. We get any kind of volume behind it. Do. Crypto or die. All other assets will underperform. God bless you. Go all in for go for GME for inflation play. Hey brother, nice to see you. What do you think about Janko? Janko? What's I don't know what that is. Is it JK? Oh, this is a solar company. Solar stocks have been taking somewhat of a hit here. The ETF I like it to follow is TAN, TAN. We'll look at that here in a second here. This looks super choppy here. And just kind of bouncing in a range. It looks like it has some short-term support around $55 and $59.59. That's kind of close to the 144 EMA, which is around that 53-ish range. We could pull back to that range. With this very tightly squeezed setting up, potentially if it does fire lower, could break that 55, which we just talked about, and running into that $53 range. But to the upside, we really need to see a back above 76. So looking again, don't know the company directly, but TAN, which is the ETF that looks at trading solar ETFs, we saw some massive pullback by having a gap down of last week, hitting that 50 SMA and then kind of somewhat bouncing here. With this trend potentially trying to continue going higher here, we are seeing a little bit of chop coming into this market here again. It's been fairly flat since the beginning of the year here, having a lot of problems getting above 123. D nice. Yep, I own Apple and Tesla a lot too. I love them. Paul, what's up, my friend? Awesome stocks. Nothing happened at the moment, but those are no talks about them. So everyone starts saying that they're just worthless. Let's wait and see. Yeah, I think the market is just a little over skewed on some names. Apple's gonna buy Nikola. Heard it here first, right? Hmm. Dave's asking about the cruise lines. Yeah, Dave. Those are interesting ones. So like CCL. So I own a very small position in Norwegian. Um, with these cruise line stocks, if we do, especially with they are somewhat making a recovery here. These haven't been heavily followed like were in the beginning. Like I remember everyone and their mother was talking about cruise line stocks and how they're going to be coming back, and we really saw that really just whooshing people out here way back in the beginning of summer. So the end of May had that huge run up and then pulled substantially back here, traded sideways, kind of came back to that range that $25 came right back down, trying for the third time. So three-time trace they say in Germany. If we do get a break above that 25, we can potentially run to 30. Would be the next level, but who knows what's going to happen with the Carnival and the Norwegian cruise lines. I don't even know. Are they even operational? Like, I don't know the full extent of that. Josh is asking about what do I think about NOC? Yeah, when was I talking about this one? I was talking to someone. I was someone, yeah, it was someone in Discord. Um, yeah. So with this one, we're kind of bouncing off that 292 to 293 range multiple times. You saw it bounce here, 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 here. So you can call it a 5 bottom here. Basically, with those levels being said there, with the squeeze set in place, it's below the 200 EMA. A lot of people are looking at like what could Kathy Wood be buying for the new space ETF. So being very mindful of what we're looking at those levels there. Because look with that again, and then also LMT, which is Lockheed Martin, they're one of the larger competitors for Northrop Grumman, is that kind of the same thing. It's been trending lower here. It's below the 200 EMA, been underperforming. That being said, I'm somewhat of a fan of these underperforming stocks, but these just look pretty nasty here right now for me. Vincent, what's up, my friend? Will I am increasing my bond rates and the interest rates affect growth stocks or value stocks more? Thanks for the kind of great info. If they start raising interest rates, that will definitely affect the overall market, but it will hit the high growth tech stocks much more than your value stocks. Yes. Paul saying VMAR's daily also looks crazy. Check it out. And it's not crazy. It's just super choppy here. Is this like a SPAC or something? No, this is just very much just like, yeah, that is definitely chop suey here. Really just kind of holding that 1450 plus or minus like 50 to a dollar to the upside here. Nothing really much I can say on this chart because again, it's somewhat new too. It looks like it just came out in the beginning of December as well. Um, '09, can you take a quick look at PLTR, please? Question mark, question mark, question mark. Sure. Thanks for using your manners. PLTR, this again, full disclosure, long-term hold for Kenny here in his long-term portfolio. Expecting chop. The CEO himself and the company was announcing earnings of last week. Pulled back here a little bit. We saw Aunt Kathy and ARK Investment buy pretty heavily into the dip here. Being very mindful that this could be, this is definitely a longer term play for many people who are buying at these levels. Being full disclosure, I bought in majority of my mistake around that 9 to 950 range way back when it was becoming the IPO-ish range. With that being said, it has run up quite a bit here. It is very choppy here. We're looking for some holding, staying above that 26.95 here with some levels to try to see it back above 30 in the near term here if it does break that level there. Paul's asking, hey, Ken, what do you think about CRISP for long term? They mentioned that while a pullback is somewhat mentioned in it, What do you think about jumping on it? Any thoughts on the stock now? Yeah, those, especially those genomics stocks, that ARC is fairly large into a lot of these stocks using with their ETF here. Yeah, because this stock, again, just like Tesla, has had that pretty amazing bull run from basically the beginning of November of last year, and then running up basically from $100 to $220, and then now pulling back here a little bit here. By a little bit, it's just kind of pulling back half here in the sense of this range, bouncing off that 142.50 range, which is a Fibonacci number here as well. But it is somewhat of aggressively pulling down, and this trend here, it's not really finding any kind of level on the moving averages here. I'm going to hesitate and maybe guess that the 89 EMA is probably a culprit here. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm gonna start leaving the 89 EMA on here now. So it's kind of holding this level here, which is the 89 EMA, which is a Fibonacci number, and it's holding the 618, which is also a Fibonacci number here. So we'll definitely can see. I need to update this level here. There we go. So between those levels there, those are pretty significant Fibonacci numbers. So that could be a short-term base here. Would like to maybe see this trade sideways just for a little bit before any kind of movement there. Mel's asking for what bingo? What is that? VRYYF. Very good food company. Okay, I like it. I like good food. That being said, here, very kind of choppy here, somewhat of a downward trend here. This could be potentially looking for around that 460 range, which is the 89 EMA. It does have a squeeze set in place. The only thing that's kind of sleep and dormant here is the volume zone and RSI has not really kind of got into this to maybe get that push and like cauterize the bleeding here, to maybe see it back above here, because again, it's below the 50-day here with the parabolic SRs behind it. It's got a lot of things pushing against it. AI is asking for Chris. Yeah. Interesting one here. Maybe you can call it a double top here in the short term around that 165 at these levels here. Very high IV as well, with earnings coming out so on the 1st of March as well. So that is entailing a fairly large move to the upside here. I mean, a very large move in the volatility of the market. Again, with the does not have weekly options, so not a big fan of that. But it's kind of holding in around the range of the 55 EMA here. So with that kind of short data, like that short data support, but with not that much data on this, because this stock was fairly new coming into December, mid-December here, being very mindful again that 5 and 8 has not crossed to the 21 EMA. It has now, so that trend really did break again. We talked about this way back here. It looks like it did bounce off that Fibonacci level once before. So if it doesn't hold around that 135, 136, it can easily come back down to 125. Nikola is one of the top EV manufacturers in the industry, market cap of 180 billion. Hydrogen is going to be massive, and their factory is currently being put together with Lego bricks as we speak. Buy now. Sure, go right ahead. UAMY. Wow, that's a pretty spicy move here again. Looking pretty aggressively here on the 5 and 8 moving averages, and just seeing this continuously kind of trend higher here. Yeah, this can easily continue to trend higher here. A little bit overvalued here on the daily chart here. Let me look on the weekly side. Yeah, nothing to really report there. This is just a crazy stock. If you bought in here around that 50 cents range, you're a very happy camper here. X1. What's X? That sounds so familiar. Is that the 3D print? Not a printing company. Yeah, X1. Pull back here to the 21 EMA. Maybe. Excuse me. Bouncing off that 21 EMA, which is also a Fibonacci level here at 38.47. So we could maybe get a bounce at that level here. With that being said here, not really large fan of that candle, as this has been a very strong running up stock here. Pullback is somewhat natural to the 21 EMA, but if that 21 EMA does not hold and that Fibonacci level, we could easily see it back down to 33 and even back down to 25. If that doesn't hold, to the upside is really trying to break above that resistance at $60. What do you think about the money leap options? What is the money leap options for PLTR? I don't know what you mean by that. You're talking about the prices of them? Of the leaps you're talking about? Like what leaps are you talking about? The 2022s, they're pretty pricey here. There's a lot of open interest here, especially at at $50. Again, these leaps are 334 days away, and they have an implied volatility of 93%. That's pretty insane, right? That's insane. PLTR options are very highly squeezed right now, or squeezed in the sense of very high IV, and they have a lot of premium in them. So there's a lot of people who are selling covered calls, selling premium on them around that those prices there. Paul asking, what's next for GLSI? Thanks, face, happy face. GLSI. Oh. Oh. Boo. What's next for this stock? What happened there? This is insane. Is this the cancer stock? For the breast cancer stock? Yeah, this is definitely something to look out for because again, huge run higher, and now has just been holding at 21 EMA. We could get a next run up to $63 to $70 if that squeeze wants to fire higher here, but there's nothing on these levels here that is potentially trying to do that. There's a lot of accumulation at $36, so most of the shares have been accumulated here at 36. So a lot of people are waiting and just waiting and waiting. This could take weeks, this could take days, it could take months, it could take years. I don't know. This is again probably tied to waiting for some kind of announcement on clinical trials. Any hot picks for tomorrow? Rage TV. Any hot picks for tomorrow? I don't know how to answer that. I don't trade here on like a short-term basis in the sense of buying things, but I do like home. I like home. The stock again, potentially if we get a stay above 25.65, we could potentially see that run up to like $32 range. I don't know if it's going to happen in a day, but a little bit more longer time sensitive on that. What's up with GSAT penny stock? Everyone's trading. Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone's trading it, Chris. So that's what's up with it. It just has the momentum behind all that FOMO, that get rich quick kind of scenario. Again, I'm not dissing on anyone who wants to trade it. Like, it's just not my cup of tea. And I usually 92% of the time lose money on these very heavy FOMO driven stocks here. With that being said, last gap up, it's been holding somewhat of resistance around 215 to the short-term side. It can easily come back down to that 21 EMA, which is kind of around that $1.67 range there. Smith, did we talk about RMO? No, we didn't talk about Romo. RMO again. This poor EV play just can't get up ahead of itself. bouncing kind of here off that 200 EMA here on 1436. So if that can hold, we can maybe get some consolidation, get some pattern base building. But that parabolic SAR dots is not letting it try to break out at any point here. And then you said WATT. Same with this one, very much just parabolic, gapped up on Friday. This thing could continue here. In the short dated side, we could see some support around $5 to $4.75 to the downside. Davidson, very good, is gonna rocket when their California plant goes online. Nice, fantastic. It's a plant food based ours. Nice. Dan's asking for Sun W. SUNW. Sunworks. Ugh. Yeah, these again, the tan stocks or the tan stocks, the solar stocks have been got really kind of got brought back to earth somewhat of last week here. Again, we're seeing that a little bit here. Has been chop here. It's coming into that 34 EMA, which is on $15-ish. If that can hold in the short term, that would be fine. It can easily pull back to the 55 or the 55 or 50 SMA here as well. So around that 1224 range. But those parabolic SCR dots are kind of keeping it down. To break those, we need to start getting back above $21. Brad says, hey, Ken, what are your thoughts on RCCEY? No comment on that one. That's just a very much downtrending here. Rolls Royce, I know this was on the Wall Street Bets short squeeze list. So, no. Adam's asking, could you take a look at AGTC's making a treatment for genomic related blindness? Okay, let's take a look. AGTC. Looks like it's some kind of announcement of some kind here. Rocketing higher here above that 523-ish range. Again, looking at that 5 and 8 moving average for the momentum, it can easily pull back to that 21 EMA, which is around that $5.72 there to the upside, to the downside. Chris is saying Nikola factory is being built by Jesus Minecraft game. EXPI long term, Ross. Is that Expedia? I was told by one of my buddies that long term hold. I don't know this company very well. It is a little choppy here. It's kind of somewhat consolidating here. Short term support would come in around basically 67-ish range and even down to 64. But it can easily pull back to that 60 to 58 range, which is again the 34 EMA on the daily chart here. If you're long-term holding this was a $3 stock. Now it's $90. So be very mindful of that. Again, we could get some paper hands here. It did have a 2-for-1 split, so be super mindful on how that could maybe get some weak hands out of that. It looks really good long term. But very mindful of looking for those buying. When you're looking for long term, you can add in at certain prices here, but you have to be somewhat strategic on when you're adding. You can't just continuously add on a daily basis unless you have all that capital to do so. Dan, we just looked at Sun W. What's up, Blue? CRSR holding 100 shares of that. Smith, CRSR. CRSR. Yeah, Corsair Gaming. Just had earnings pull back pretty substantially here to the 50 SMA. Very popular stock as well that's been talked about quite a bit on a lot of forums. Very heavily bought and been talked about very heavily. With the 21 and the 5 and 8 EMA kind of crossing to the 21 EMA, we do have some short-dated support coming in around $37 to $37.03. If that can hold, we can potentially maybe consolidate and build a base here. But if that breaks, we're going to be saying hello to around 34 to 35 to the downside. To the upside, we'd really just kind of need to break above $41. Anthony, can we check out Zscaler? Yeah, that we're talking some crazy growth here. Was the old Zscaler. So the fun fact, I think the CEO owns like 50% of the company, and the company he's making gangbusters money here. With that being said here, it's been holding that 21 EMA pretty substantially here and that 34. With earnings coming up on the horizons, be very mindful of that. Not my favorite kind of cup of tea to kind of hold calls or any kind of things like that into earnings unless you have to own the leaps and you're long stock and all kinds of various components. But be very mindful with earnings that could be a coin flip. TH Sound Studio says, what about like an MNPR thoughts, Ken? Nah, not really too much to talk about this one. It's kind of broken. It has been breaking above that 200 EMA here, and just kind of trading sideways and just kind of treading water here. But these large spikes up are pretty insane here. But being very mindful, as long as it stays above 781, it's kind of just trying to do its own thing here. What's up, Tech? Howdy, y'all. This week is going to be one of a heck of a week with a whole lot of earning reports coming out. You are so right. Pola is asking for QDEL. QDEL. What's QDEL? QDEL. Ew, woo, 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 woo. Holy moly. Wait a minute. It had earnings per share of $11. The estimate was $9.90. This is the stuff where people just kind of rip their hair out. It came right down to support around 181. So that is pretty significant there. Still, what of a falling knife. I'm not the largest fan of a gap down and then a very large red candle like this. We can easily see this print lower to potentially that 172 to even 160, which we have some previous floor support there and around that range. Let me look at this chart here right fast. Yeah, that 181-ish is pretty significant, and that 150 to 160 range could be a potential somewhat of a magnet if that weak hands with that could be pulling that lower. Tech, yeah, Berkshire's report is always a fun one to watch. Can we please take a look at K? What's that? Is that Kohl's or Kellogg's? Yeah, Kellogg's. Ew, la 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 la. Kellogg's, great cereal, right? Very much a boring company here. Wow, I had no idea that was this bad over there at Kellogg's. Very aggressive moves down, even from the basically doing the complete opposite on what the market has been doing. A lot of stocks have been taking off from that Thanksgiving, November timeframe. This thing has been just tanking ever since that level here and has not seen any kind of chance to kind of fully recover here. You can see here trying to hit that falling 50 SMA here. So basically around $60 and just kind of has come back and not really had the strength to be able to get past those levels there. Yeah, not favorite stock. FYI, I love your videos. I literally only chart person I subscribe to on YouTube besides one other smaller, less active one. Nice. Thank you, Smith. I appreciate that. It's not, it's because they can't say your name. Probably they won't look at the stocks. He won't look at the stocks. What? Did I miss someone? Face drive, what does that mean? It can BB stocks not looking good. What else? Amazon mentioned something. Yeah, so it's hard to when people just like tied to a single news story that kind of came out. With this being said, be very mindful. The overall market took a choppy week last week, so that did affect a lot of components downrange. It just didn't affect a couple Nasdaq stocks. It really just shook the overall market here. We are still kind of holding some support around that $10.86 Fibonacci number. But if we break below that with the 50 SMA, we can easily come back down to 911, which is not a fun number to be in. Retail companies Square, Nvidia, Teladoc, Sunrun, for sure are all earnings report. I think I'm having a fun looking at. Yeah, Teladoc, Nvidia, Square is definitely an interesting one to be doing for. Long-term ENPH holder of IRA also been buying the dip of shares recently once again because they're working towards. Finally bought some 513 185 calls this week. What are your thoughts? Long-term ENPH. Yeah, that's a very nice overall chart here. To be quite honest with you, it's been holding that 21 and 34 EMA pretty substantial here. You did see again, not sure what kind of energy it does do, if it's nuclear or more old-fashioned power. Again, with using coal. No, I don't. How many coal companies are still public? I don't think any coal companies are public anymore. But with that squeeze setting up, it has bounced off that 50 SMA here a little bit here. If we do see this short-term support here around 178 to 176, hold, maybe build a base here. We can try to start wrapping its way back above that 195 to $200 here. What's up, Greg B? Can we look at Can? Yeah, we looked at that, I think, towards the beginning, but we'll take a look again. It's the third time people have talked about it. Yeah, I remember this now. So basically, looking at the 5 and 8 moving averages is aggressively printed higher here to really see that very high IV, very much a parabolic move there. FD. Oh, sorry, I missed something. FD. I was gonna have the FB. FD is not loading. Poking New York Jack City, you're welcome. Dave's asking thoughts on XLI industry play. Yeah, I like playing those S&P 500 sectors. Interesting. I like it. Yeah, it's having a lot of issues getting above 90. We finally broke an all-time high, so we could see that potentially run up to $95. Actually, that's a very interesting play, Dave. With some short-term support coming in around $88. Do you mind checking for SNDL? Yeah, SNDL, if the first level of support is kind of holding that 21 EMA, but if that doesn't hold around that 544, 550, we can easily come back down to the $1 for SNDL. Ben says GASS is Goldman Sachs SPACs trying to get into the SPAC game. Yeah, I have a hard time trusting anything Goldman Sachs does. Let's be honest with you. Very much hyped up here. Look at the IV through the roof, as they would say. Just did it add options? Look at it like it just did. Yeah, very interesting play to definitely to see in how this one plays out, without a doubt. Oops. Very much that SPAC kind of candlesticks here that we're pretty much used to and acquainted with quite a bit here, and just seeing that FOMO and that momentum really drawn up here. And when it comes to stocks, I'm buying these stocks at the creator of Minecoin, and Triggles and Ryan Ambrose. BC. The next new blockchain ticker sounds are TAALF. TAAL. Of course, on my keyboard worked. TAALF. Yeah, very much that FOMO. Just really just rip higher here. Very hard to kind of trade this for myself. Just looking at some support levels around that 5 and 8 moving averages. Naked NAKD. Yeah, not much I can add there. Some short-term support coming in around $1, but you saw it has had multiple issues trying to get above that 200 EMA around $2 range there. Dan's asking, what am I drinking? I am drinking, actually, San Pellegrino sparkling water. Can moves with Bitcoin? Oh, can moves with Bitcoin. Okay. I forget what the stock we're talking about. SEGI. Yeah, I can't even. This is well below. This is too low for a penny stock for me. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. D nice is or oh, you're talking to D nice. Okay. Yeah, it's feeling that with Tesla is a bit wobbly, technical speaking. If it can end the day slightly above the 50 SMA at 52, yeah. Check. I agree. Tesla has been a very, 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 very I wouldn't say disappointing, because again, I ran from that 420 to basically 900 in 3 months. Express Barbershop is like, can you check out CRISPR? Yeah. Did we just do that one? Is it CR? Oh my gosh, what is it? CRSP, right? Yeah. CRISP Therapeutics hit that 220 range and then it's kind of just pooped. Kind of coming in pretty heavily here to that 89 EMA here, and that's 148 range. If it can stay above 148 to 145, that could maybe build a base here. We want to start seeing that 5 and 8 moving averages start leveling off here and start trading sideways here. NCTY, Chris is asking. Yeah, that's insane. Godspeed. That is just holding that 5 and 8 moving average and just running. Where they did Riot, very much similar to that momentum stuff. Alpaca, have you played RimWorld? I have not, but I played. Oh shoot, what was the name of that one? It was a very fun game. Where was it? Oh, Satisfactory. That was a lot of that was a fun game. It's very much like that base building and mining. Um, in for 200 shares of mRNA at 40. Sorry, MR. Yeah. Yeah. $40. Interesting. You kind of bought in around the 5 EMA. You're buying the short level support here. Again, on the day trading side, most likely, or swing trading in the short term. And if that can hold here, if that breaks above that 43, that next level we want to really see break is above 50. But if that doesn't hold, we're going to be looking for some levels of support around 39.50 and even back down to $32 or wherever the 21 EMA lies. CBAT, lithium play, CBAT. Interesting. Yeah, I think this was on. We talked about this one last week. It's been holding that 21 EMA. Very choppy here, But as long as it stays above 762, 765, and holds that 21 EMA and just continues kind of chop higher, we can see a nice slow, steady eddy to break above that $10 to $11 range. Can we check out Verizon? Yeah, I was gonna ask when people are gonna be talking about that one with the old warrant. Oh no, Verizon is what is Verizon? The Verizon. There it is. The good old Oracle of Omaha bought into this sucker. Of course, it jumps up basically from that 53 all the way up to that $57. But that was previously level of resistance. So that $57 has just kind of failed here. We can easily see it come back down to 55 and even to that 55, 56. If this really wants to make a turnaround play with the old geezer, I'm just making fun of him. I'm just joking. I'm a fan of Warren Buffett. Really needs to start breaking above that 57.14, which is kind of that 21 EMA here on the longer dated weekly chart there. V is asking for SOS. Yeah, very again that looking at 5 and 8 moving averages for those momentums. Easily can see it coming down to 10.35 and even back down to $8.92. So be super mindful of those two levels of support in the short term. SENGI. Oh yeah, I can't do that one. That's just too short term for me there, Josh. Sorry for the penny stock. If it hits within $60 within a month, I'm out. Probably a good play. LMT is kind of in a downward trend. It's kind of trying to find a base here and potentially seeing some kind of recovery from that level there. South Pellegrino lemon and blood orange drinks, they are kind of a mix of between a sparkling water and juice. Yes, I used to drink those all the time, Chris, until I was told that they're unhealthy, and I can't drink them again. Express Barbershop PLTR, yes, I love PLTR. PLTR is becoming a large holding in my longer term stock here. We do have some pretty strong support around 27.95 here, but really looking for that support level around $24 to $25 range to hold in the intermediate term with that level to try to break back above 30. BA, what do you think, bro? BA, very much just trading sideways and not really much to report here. We have some levels here around 203 to 199 for some level of support. Really just kind of waiting for some kind of catalyst or some good news in the aerospace and the travel companies to kind of break out to that 225. Wow, Bitcoin has fallen since the start of the stream. Yikes. It's basically, I said bad luck, Dave. Where is it at? So we went live 20. Yeah, we in the short run, I can easily come back down to 54 200 ish range, and maybe get a bounce here. Even that 53 390 is going to be some level of support in the short term for the old Bitcoin. When searching for stocks, please type in galaxies in the you can gotta get on the right man for Mr. H. I don't know what that means. That seems like a little clickbaity here. Bitcoin down 2K. David saying Bitcoin is a little down, but probably will be like 5% by the end of the time we go. Mr. H is asking for happens every Sunday. Galaxy P TSX TS. I'm trying to figure out what ticker symbol that's asking for. There's a lot of letters in that comment there. So TSX no worky. GLXY. Yeah. When searching for this stock, please type in. Oh, that's her B. Okay, BRF. BRF what? HF. Okay, there we go. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna do a couple. What in the world? What's going on here? Oh, YouTube was spinning for me. Oh, sorry. That was weird. I thought I was gonna have to end the stream. Let's see here. Any investment advice from a crypto guy named with Mister is a scam. John Jacobs. Yeah, YouTube just lagged on me. Poopy face. I thought it was just gonna disconnect me. Can we look at IPOE? Yeah, IPOE has not gone into SoFi yet, which I own some of this. That being said, the short interest is fairly high on. I think it's like 25%. With that, looking at the statistics here, it is holding that 21 EMA here slightly here. So we're looking for that support to kind of continue around $22.25. If that doesn't hold, we're going to be seeing it coming down to around 21.32 ish range there. And then at the same time, if it does break and we get that momentum going higher, we get some kind of catalyst, we have Chamath talking about something, whatever, we can easily see run up that $24.37 there. Ben, take it easy, my friend. Good luck this week as well. Very much appreciated. I'm going to try to live stream a lot more this week, though. My week is not supposed to be, hopefully, be this busy. I had a lot of moving components last week. Um, asking for Wish. Yeah, Wish, if I remember right, I don't have too much data on this one. Yeah, very new stock, came in very much at the end of the last year. Not really the greatest wish to make off here. Really much a run up and then very much a very fast staircase down here. Looking for some resistance here around 21.95 to $21 even. If that doesn't hold, again, we saw a lot of volume coming in the last 2 days on this particular stock. So, but this aggressive move down here with the 5 and 8 crossing over here is not really the world's greatest look for the underlying stock there. Um, MB63, I got an appeal to turn on the dip and a 2 to the moon. Shall we go as hope? Yeah, let's go to the moon together. Ken, do you know how to add the 30 and 60-minute VWAP on TOS? I seen it on the 1 day. How do I add it on the 1 day, week, and monthly? What do you mean? You would just go up here and you can just change the time frame. And then you can just add it in there. It should automatically add the VWAP on those different various targets there, or the different various time frames. PEP for long-term future. The old Pepsi. Yeah, because I didn't even like what. Yeah, between Pepsi and Kellogg's, they're very much on that like fairly aggressive downward trends here. This is very aggressive for Pepsi to come down here. Maybe a triple bottom here around that 132 range, but not a pretty look with these levels here. If we do get that push lower, we're looking for around 129 to 130 for that level to kind of potentially hold there. Wish. Hey Ken, what are your thoughts on when one should sell their leaps? When it breaks your price targets on the stock. Ken, here's my silly play for 2021: 100,000 shares of CTRXY at $1.75. If the FDA approves the micro, it could run wild. 1,000 shares. So you're basically not putting too much. I don't know your capital. If that is a lot of money to you, to $1,000 is a lot of people to some people. Yeah. I'm asking if I'm into any cryptos. I own Ethereum and Bitcoin at this point. Yes. FUT. Ugh, don't talk about that one. I own the son of a gun. No joke. I bought it into this range right here. I bought it at $44. And then it just took off here with that squeeze here. I feel completely idiotic here. It's still running here. It's been holding that 5 and 8 moving averages fairly well here. It's been running up quite a bit here. That it doesn't mean that this can't slow down here, but that 220, 240, 260, 275 are those really strong targets that we could be looking for. That's it. This has definitely run quite a bit here. How long can it last? I have no idea. No crystal ball here, but that is a very phenomenal move in a stock there, without a doubt. Um, how the S&P 500 future is looking like? Thanks. Um, right now they're just kind of flat for me. With the futures here, we do have some short-term support coming in around. Let me go here, a smaller time frame. Basically here around that 3,885 could be some levels of support here, but It's pretty much flat here for me. Okay, you're talking about a market crash. People are talking about market crash. Um, yeah, I think Robin. I think we talked about this one earlier. If people more and more people talk about a market crash, I think it's not less likely to look at to kind of crash because of it. Again, being the contrarian bet of things. CTXR. Yeah, that's a interesting one without a doubt that you pulled up here. Very interesting one. Yeah, interesting. Kind of did fire along here on the weekly side. It's kind of breaking above the 200 EMA here. Let me do a fib here. Interesting. I like it. We do get that stay above $2. We can easily see that around to 238, 292, $3.06, $4.48, and then $5.58. And you said around $6. Then the really level is around $8.78 for very extreme prices here. In the short term here, looking at the daily chart, with this very large move higher into Friday here, we can maybe see this come back down to around $1.62, potentially those levels there. Thoughts? Or let's see here. Sorry, did I miss something? Ken, your thoughts on ACES Clean Energy Company? ACES. Yeah, pullback hit the somewhat the 50 SMA here around 87. Trying to bounce here. Could be a dead cat bounce. A dead cat bounce would be basically failing here at this level and maybe rolling back over and closing below this previous candle here, basically below $88. With that being said, if that doesn't continue, we can get a V-shaped recovery here. We would need to kind of get back above that $95 range there. What do I think about FULGNT? What's the ticker for that? What's FUTU? Tech. It's a Chinese trading app, I believe. What are my thoughts on MVIS? Wow. Nice little move here. We are seeing that pretty aggressive moves within the 5 and 8 moving averages, really trying to see that momentum continue again. That 5 and 8 is going to be the very key driver within those averages there. What about DNN uranium future? Yeah, very much like a pop higher. Again, hitting that 5 and moving averages. I am not specialized in penny stocks, so be very mindful of that. These are just very much too much momentum trades. This. I've been going long on peak with a bounce as coming soon. Thoughts on low support? Yeah, I believe this is a Kathy Wood stock, right? Pacific Bio, yeah. Very right, really nice play here. Guess we're in the pharmaceutical business here, and now seeing it kind of bounce here on the 21 EMA multiple times, coming to the breaking past it for a little bit, and then bouncing pretty hard on that 34 EMA, and just kind of continuously seeing that momentum trying to carry us higher here with some short dated support coming in around $40. Can we look at PE? PTE. Yeah, not too much to talk about here. We're finally broke above the 200 EMA, which is great. So we have some support coming in around $1.37. Guys, on that note, I've been streaming for about 2 hours here. Let's kind of do a quick review towards the tail end here, looking at the overall markets here. For the S&P 500, we are seeing very much flat here. We do have some support coming in slightly around that 3,880 range, but the stronger support is going to be coming in around that 3,860 dollar range, which is kind of where the 21 EMA is currently residing in the markets here. With the Nasdaq, a little bit more of a pullback. If we do get a break below again, we have not reached that $14,000 price target within the old Nasdaq here. Looking at those prices here, so if we do get a break here, yeah, we can do it. Let's do the smaller ETF as a better idea. So QQQ, we're really trying to break above 400 or 350 here. With that being said, or 340, sorry, we have some short-term support coming in around 328. So if that 328 on the 21 EMA holds, we also have those parabolic SER dots to kind of potentially create some kind of leverage there of support. If it does break, we're going to be looking for some support around 325. But really to the upside is trying to break above 339 to 340 to potentially see that next leg higher here. So be very mindful about that, ladies and gentlemen. We can also look at, I'm not the soybeans, we want to look at the VIX. The VIX is up just a little over a percent today. That being said here, we really need to see it break above 27 to get any kind of significant value or a tell out of the VIX here if we get any kind of moves higher. So without further ado, I want to appreciate and thank everyone for coming out. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe. I'm going to try to be doing some more streams. If you have any video ideas or stocks that you want me to look at to do deeper depth, just go ahead and join the Discord, and I hopefully will see you there on any kind of commentary. And again, join the Discord for whatever reasons as well. We always have great conversations and chats going on there. So again, guys, thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming out, supporting the stream, and just having a grand old time and being very polite at the same time. That means the world to me. Thank you. Safe tradings, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.